too familiar with the Fortnite game. I had known about it for quite some time, but I never actually played it until my friends practically forced me to download it and join them. They wanted to play in squads, teams of 4. My 3 friends were Jason, Marcus, Dylan, and Ryan. Jason was by far the best player and the one who initiated most of our matches. Marcus came in second, while Dylan only spoke through his headset when he was in trouble or needed help. Ryan and I were more of the casual players, enjoying the game but never taking it too seriously. Jason and Marcus, on the other hand, would strategize every move, while Dylan and Ryan mostly went along for the ride. We were deep into a match when suddenly Jason stopped talking. A long silence followed, about 10 seconds. Then, as Jason was leading us to another location, his character suddenly stopped moving. He just stood there, unmoving. Marcus, clearly annoyed, turned on his mic and told Jason to move, but Jason's character remained frozen, and he didn't say a word. However, we could see his mic was still active. Background noise was coming through, but Jason himself wasn't speaking. Marcus, Dylan, Ryan, and I kept urging Jason to move, or we'd leave him behind. That's when we heard it, an ear-piercing, horrifying scream coming from Jason's mic. It wasn't like he was screaming into the headset. It sounded distant, like he was across the room. Then we heard a loud bang, a door slamming shut. The 4 of us fell into silence, unsure of what to do. Finally, I told them I'd call Jason. I turned off my console and immediately dialed his number. I called 5 times. No answer. Something felt wrong, so I decided to drive over to his house. It was only 2 minutes away. When I arrived, I noticed something unsettling. There were no cars in the driveway, but the front door was open. The lights were on throughout the house. Cautiously, I stepped inside, calling out Jason's name. That's when I heard him scream from upstairs. I rushed up to his loft bedroom and found him, hiding under the bed. His face was pale, his hands trembling. "Hide," he whispered. I crouched beside him, trying to calm him down, asking him what had happened. At first, he could barely speak, only giving short, panicked sentences. But after a few moments, he took a deep breath and told me everything. While we were playing, he felt something. A tap from under his bed. Confused, he lifted the fabric covering the sides of his bed and peered underneath. That's when he saw him. A grown man hiding under the bed, staring back at him with wide, unblinking eyes. Jason had no time to react. He threw his headset onto the bed and screamed, backing into a corner. He watched, paralyzed, as the man crawled out from under the bed, stood up, and without saying a word, walked straight out of the bedroom. But Jason swears he saw something else before the man left. Something wrong. As the intruder stepped into the dim hallway, Jason caught a glimpse of his face in the mirror. His reflection didn't match. The man walking away had no mouth, no eyes, just a void of darkness where his features should have been. We had no idea if the man was still in the house. Jason, still shaking, had no choice but to call the police. When the officers arrived, one male officer went inside to investigate while the female officer stayed outside with us, taking notes. We gave them all the details we could, but in the end, there wasn't much they could do. After a brief search, they left, telling us to call if anything else happened. That night, I stayed over at Jason's house. He wasn't ready to be alone, and honestly, neither was I. To this day, we still play Fortnite together. I've gotten much better at the game, but no matter how many matches we win, we can never forget that night. I've never been a huge Fortnite person, but most of my friends have been for a while. I always felt reluctant when they told me to jump on and play. I had played the game a few times and understood the basics, but I just wasn't good at it. One Thursday night, I decided to practice alone. I played match after match, slowly improving until I felt confident enough to join other players. Not my friends, just random people online. I queued up for a duos match and got paired with someone named Bob Rockets, or something like that, with a bunch of extra letters. I didn't bother memorizing it. We lost pretty quickly, ranking around 18th place. After the match, I received a personal message from him, saying I was really good and that we should play again. It was weird considering I hadn't played well at all. Still, I figured why not? We queued up again. This time he turned on his microphone and started talking. I didn't have a mic, so I couldn't respond, only listen through my TV speakers. At first, he seemed fine, just casual conversation. But after a while, he started getting frustrated, saying things like, "Put your mic on," and "Bakupad, stop being a coward." His attitude shift was immediate and unsettling. I decided this would be my last match with him. He kept muttering things under his breath, most of it inaudible over the game's sounds. Then, clear as day, I heard him say my name, my entire full name. I froze. How did he know that? My real name wasn't displayed anywhere on my profile. My stomach twisted as I tried to think of how this was possible. He kept speaking, but I wasn't listening anymore. My hands moved on their own, and I started breathing heavily. I turned off my console immediately. A wave of relief washed over me as the voice cut out. I grabbed my phone and texted my friends, telling them what had happened. They thought it was hilarious, spamming LOL and LMAO. I sighed and put my phone down, trying to distract myself on my laptop. Then my phone vibrated again. Expecting another joke from my friends, I glanced at the screen, but it wasn't them. It was an unknown number. The message simply said hi, followed by my full name. My fingers trembled as I typed back, "Who is this?" 3 dots appeared on the screen. Whoever it was, they were typing. I waited, my heart pounding. The next message appeared. "Is this your address?" Followed by my actual address. I broke into a cold sweat. My mind raced through possibilities. Was it one of my friends messing with me? Had I accidentally leaked my information somewhere? I quickly typed back, "No, that's not my address." It was a lie, of course, but I had to try something. No response. I started accusing my friends of messing with me. They swore they had nothing to do with it. I didn't believe them, but I also didn't want to give them the satisfaction of a reaction. I decided to drop it and went to bed, trying to ignore the pit growing in my stomach. I woke up to something, a noise. You know how sometimes a sound wakes you up but you don't know what it was because you weren't fully conscious yet? That's what happened. I sat up listening, then knocking on my window. Every hair on my body stood on it. Slowly, I turned my head toward the window. But instead of looking to see who or what was out there, I did the only thing my body would allow. I ran. I bolted out of my room, heart hammering, and locked myself in the nearest bathroom. No windows, no way in. I pressed my back against the door, barely breathing. I must have fallen asleep because the next thing I knew, it was morning. I checked my phone. Nothing. No missed calls, no texts, just silence. I texted my friends again, telling them to go to hell if they were behind this. They laughed, thinking it was some elaborate joke. But I knew better. And to this day, I still don't know who or what was knocking at my window that night.